Now, when it comes to Omega Man, I have quite a bit more. The Omega Man, by the way, send your super chats if you would like me to read them over the internet airwaves, which aren't airwaves, the internet radio waves, the internet YouTube waves. I'll read them for you. Please send me your super chats. Omega Man. Now this one's funny because this one is right around the same time as Soylent Green, and I think it's the same producer. And Omega Man is, of course, the remake of the Vincent Price Last Man on Earth. And then this gets remade in, 10 years ago, 2006 or 7, with Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And Will Smith blood is what saves everybody. In this, it's Charles Heston blood that saves everyone. But there's some interesting aspects to Omega Man that I think warrant some analysis. So, Charles gets himself a Nubian princess in this. So this is interesting because, you know, it had been a long time since I watched this, and I forgot that Charles was going to get hooked up with the Nubian princess, which is funny because that comes up in the movie. So you can get over here. It comes up in the movie that the cult sees this as weird. There's a black dude in the cult, the powdered donut black dude that's super ashy, and he's like, honky privilege. He says something like this, right? What does he say? I've got it written down here. He says honky paradise, right? Because Charlton Heston lives up atop of this wealthy estate type thing where he's keeping all the cult members out in the apocalypse, and then he hooks up with the Pam Grier looking 70s chick. And the black guy in the cult is like, he's like, honky privilege, right? Because he's not happy that this Whitey has taken his black girl. And then Charlton Heston has to fight against the cult. And what I like about this is that the cult is focused on superstition. So there's this kind of laughable dialectic between science and religion. And so after the bioweapon gets loose and everybody's got this plague except for Charlton Heston and the Peter Pan crew of kids, here we have the whole Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome type of scenario at the end of this film, if you don't recall, when he meets up with the Lost Boys. So Charlton, in what I'm saying is that this cult has to indoctrinate the black dude in the cult to be a powdered donut black dude and not care that Charlton Heston has the black chick, because now after the apocalypse, all of the evil cult members are white people. So it's like they've got Jacko's disease, right? They've got Michael Jackson syndrome. They've got I wrote down an idea. What did I call it? They've got Stevie Wonder's disease. I called it Jacko syndrome, and I called it something else. Anyway, the point being is that the cult are Luddites. They're anti-tech. Okay, they don't want technology to return, and so Charlton Heston is the enemy to be stamped out because he's a scientist. So there's this constant dialogue in the film that's really funny between the gothic, what did I call them? I call them, they're like a 70s gothic P-Funk organ playing cult. So imagine P-Funk went emo, and then they started playing the organ, and that became a religion. That's essentially what you have in this cult. And so the plague gets out. They become the Powdered Donut Brotherhood. And they quite literally look like powdered donuts. I'm not joking. And then Charlton Heston, as we said, hooks up with the last black chick. The last chick is black chick. And prior to this, he's having to only watch old Woodstock footage, right? It's pretty funny. That's the only movie he has after the apocalypse is old Woodstock footage, and he can mouth everything that the hippies are saying. And so, ironically, the movie is like an incel fantasy almost. It's like, how would I get a chick if I'm the last guy on Earth, then and there's one last chick, then she'll have to be with me, right? So this is like an ultimate incel fantasy. Just a thought I had. It's not really an incel fantasy, but so we see Charles sitting up in his room, and he actually at one point is sitting on a Masonic floorboard, which is bizarre. And then he dresses up like a gay French prince and fires a sniper at the cult, which was just that itself is pretty entertaining. That Charlton Heston dressing up like a gay French prince and sniping. I called him the fabulous sniper. And by the way, he's lugging around big sausages when he does this, which is very bizarre. PHAT sausages, fat sausages. So the cult wants him dead because he represents the last of the old ways of doing things. And he says something to the effect that the cult leader, Matthias, says something to the effect of, "You and your scientific tools destroyed the world, and we will therefore destroy you." And so Charles is kind of losing his mind because there's no chicks, right? This is before, and so he's like falling in love with mannequins. So it almost turns into Andrew McCarthy in Mannequin, right? With the mannequin fixation, the golem that comes alive in the movie Mannequin, if you've never seen it. Very, very goofy. But there's similar scenes going along here, but it turns out, no, it's actually the black chick, and you got to see this cult leader guy. He's great. He's like a cross between, remember that movie Powder? It's like if Powder was in the Blues Brothers and was a fan of Jim Jones, is what you get with Matthias. Not a church that you want to join. Maybe a church you might visit, but not a church you want to call your home church. So the whole film is basically a scientific presentation of salvation. And religion is relegated to the domain of everybody in religion is Jim Jones, the Inquisitor, in the Blues Brothers, and has the disease that Powder has. That's all that exists in religion is this kind of incel. Although ironically, again, the Charlton Heston character dressing up in gay French prince outfits and sort of gingerly trotting about his apartment and firing snipers and guzzling wine kind of makes Charlton a bit of an incel as well. But maybe we can grant him an incel pass given that he is the last man on Earth, so he thinks. So, but what we get is basically it's the return of superstition versus the tradition of science and the flame of reason. And the irony is that you have the Christian myth, all right, of the blood of Christ saving people is kind of weirdly turned on its side, and it's the blood of Charlton Heston that saves people because he's the scientist. And it's the religious people who want man to be doomed and basically have leprosy. Right? They've got like meth. They've all got meth sores all over their face. So religion gives you meth sores. Science gives you Charles Heston and bedding down sexy black chicks. That literally, like, I didn't realize my wig is literally the wig of the black chick. So that's extra free for you guys. Me wearing the the way I was going to show her again. I can't find her picture. Where's the blonde, the afro chick? There she is. Yeah, so this is a ridiculous stream, isn't it? Yeah, so see? So Omega Man's whole point is just that science trumps religion. Got to see my notes here. Fabulous Sniper. The White Black Guy Cult. Oh, they're called the Family, which is interesting because, you know, the Family obviously was a real cult. Oh, and they burn the arts too. So if you're not for science and the arts, then you must be religious. Right? So because, yeah, religions burn the arts, even though like all the greatest arts of Western civilization the last 2,000 years are religious art. No, the religious only want to destroy art. What else? Is there anything else in this movie that I thought was relevant? Oh, religion claims objective truth, and that's its problem. Science doesn't. And so that's why they have the Inquisition to kill Charles Heston, is because they believe in objective truth. And Charles Heston argues with them about you can't have truth. You can only have scientific verisimilitude and relative certainty about things, right? Which is, again, how many times do we have to point out that that's a claim of certainty in itself, isn't it? Well, of course it is, right? So you fall in with this cult, everybody takes on the Blues Brothers appearance, and you get Stevie Wonder's disease because they can't. Oh, this is the other thing. They can't see in the day, so they all have shades on at night, like I do presently. And you see I'm kind of pasty over here, white. They can't see at night because the light pains them greatly. They fall over, limp, rolling over, fetal position anytime they're exposed to light. And that's because in the original story, they're vampiric, right? They want blood. They're like zombies. They're like zombie vampires. But then the weird scientific twisting of the Christian mythos, they turn it into the scientist blood that saves the people in the cult. And the people in the cult, here's the great message, right? They don't want to be saved from their malady. They want to remain in their diseased, leprous, powdered donut, gothic, funk state. Gothic, P-funk. So that's what we get here. So this is very obvious scientific, goofy propaganda, but it was a lot of fun. I had fun watching this. I had fun analyzing it. There's not a whole lot more to say, really. I mean, that's kind of the essence of this movie.